Hello, happy Sabbath. Welcome back to a chapter a day. It is Saturday, Sabbath, and here I go again. Hope you had a great week. Mine was okay, and I pray that you are going to take this time to do the rest that God said we should, because it does help to renew our bodies, minds, and spirits. Okay, today I'm going to be reading one chapter, Isaiah 38. So let's get started. Remember the previous week when I read King Hezekiah had taken the letter he got from the king of Assyria and took it to the temple before God and opened it up and read it before God. And God told him, hey, through the prophet Isaiah, don't worry about it. This rapture, the king of Assyria, all his hosts and his officers, you're not going to see them anymore. Just stand still and see the workings of God. And that may be a message for a lot of us, including me. Okay, so let's see what happens this week. Oh, and the angel of death went into the camp of the Assyrians and slew or killed 185,000. Oh, okay. That's amazing. And then Sennacherib, who was the king of Assyria, was killed by his own sons. Imagine that. Just like God had told Isaiah and Isaiah had predicted. So let's see what chapter 38 has for us today. In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos, came unto him and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. Then Hezekiah turned his face toward the wall and prayed unto the Lord, and said, Remember now, O Lord, I beseech thee, how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart, and have done that which is good in thy sight. And Hezekiah wept sore. Then came the word of the Lord, saying to Isaiah, Go and say to Hezekiah, Thus saith the Lord, the God of Israel, the God of David thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy tears. Behold, I will add unto thy days 15 years. Does God hear us? Yes, he does. Does God answer our prayers? Yes, he does. Verse 6. And I will deliver thee and this city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city. And this shall be a sign unto thee from the Lord, that the Lord will do this thing that he hath spoken. And does God give us signs? Yes, he does. Behold, I will bring again the shadow of the degrees which is gone down in the sundial of Ahaz, 10 degrees backward. So the sun returned 10 degrees, by which degrees it was gone down. So it's like it went from later to earlier. Verse 9. The writing of Hezekiah king of Judah, when he had been sick and was recovered of his sickness. I said, in the cutting off of my days, I shall go to the gates of the grave. I am deprived of the residue of my years. I said, I shall not see the Lord, even the Lord, in the land of the living. I shall behold man no more with the inhabitants of the world. So Hezekiah is recounting his experience when he thought he was going to die. Verse 12. Mine age is departed and is removed from me as a shepherd's tent. I have cut off like a weaver my life. He will cut me off with pining sickness. From day even to night wilt thou make an end of me. You ever had that time when you were so sick, you really felt, I am going to not make it? You know those times. Verse 13. I reckoned till morning that as a lion, so will he break all my bones. From day even to night, will thou make an end of me? Like a crane or a swallow, so did I chatter. I did mourn as a dove. Mine eyes fail with looking upward. O Lord, I am oppressed. Undertake for me. What shall I say? He hath both spoken unto me, and himself hath done it. I shall go softly all my years in the bitterness of my soul. O Lord, by these things men live, and in all these things is the life of my spirit. So wilt thou recover me and make me to live. Behold, for peace I had great bitterness, but thou hast in love to my soul delivered it from the pit of corruption. For thou hast cast all my sins behind thy back. For the grave cannot praise thee, death cannot celebrate thee. They that go down into the pit cannot hope for thy truth. That's the truth. Although people think people continue to live beyond the grave, I'm not sure why they think so. Death is the end of that until Jesus comes. Verse 19, the living, he shall praise thee as I do this day. The father to the children shall make known thy truth. The Lord was ready to save me. Therefore we will sing my songs to the stringed instruments all the days of our life in the house of the Lord. For Isaiah had said, let them take a lump of figs and lay it for a plaster upon the boil, and he shall recover. Hezekiah also had said, what is the sign that I shall go up to the house of the Lord? Okay, so here's what's happening. After Hezekiah was sick, and Isaiah told him about his death decree, he turned to the wall and prayed and cried unto God. And he was already sick. God heard his cry. God heard his prayer. And he said, I'm going to add 15 years unto your life. That means you're not going to die now. In addition, he gave him a sign that he would do what he said by turning the sun back 10 degrees. God does that for us. For us. Okay? And then he had Isaiah take a natural remedy of a lump of figs and put it on the boil of Hezekiah. Whatever it is had caused the boil, a lump of figs put on the wound, healed it. Isn't God something? I mean, gosh, Lord, forgive us for our unbelief and our distrust and our faithlessness. God help us. That's the end of chapter 38. Now, I just glanced, chapter 39 is short. So I'm going to go ahead and read that so we can kind of move further along in this book of Isaiah. Okay, so I'm going to go to chapter 39. At that time, Merodach-Baladan, the son of Baladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and a present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that he had been sick and was recovered. And Hezekiah was glad of them and showed them the house of his precious things, the silver, the gold, the spices, and the precious ointment, and all the house of his armor, and all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house, nor in all his dominion, that King Hezekiah showed them not. Okay, so Hezekiah is now healed. People are hearing how he has recovered from the sickness. So they're sending him letters of congratulations and gifts to go along with it. So Hezekiah is inviting these presenters of these gifts and letters from the king, because the king himself won't come. And he's still the king. This was another king of Babylon, okay? Because kings of Babylon change quite frequently. So they come with their letters, they come with their gifts. Hezekiah is so glad to see them. He forgets to even tell them about how God has brought him through his illness, how God added on years to his life, promised to add on years to his life, how God gave him a sign. He mentioned nothing about God. And you know what? Sometimes I think I'm guilty of that too. And if we check ourselves, sometimes I'm not sure why we don't mention God. Is it in a bid to make it seem like we've done what? I don't know. But he showed them everything in his house. He took them on a house tour of how beautiful things in his house were. And he never mentioned God. Verse 3. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah, and said unto him, what said these men? And from whence came they unto thee? And Hezekiah said, they are come from a far country unto me, even from Babylon. Then, no, he just got delivered from the king of Assyria, okay? He didn't even have to fight him. He was delivered when God sent the angel of death to kill all of those men. Now he's still going to cohorts with a king from another pagan country. Okay, we need to be so careful who we associate with. All right. Verse 4, then said he, what have they seen in thine house? This is Isaiah the prophet asking Hezekiah. And Hezekiah answered, all that is in mine house have they seen. There is nothing among my treasures that I have not showed them. Then said Isaiah to Hezekiah, hear the word of the Lord of hosts. Behold, the days come that all that is in thine house and that which thy fathers have laid up in store until this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, saith the Lord. Oh boy, you know what? Sometimes, I tell you truthfully, the people who went before us did us wrong. Honestly. Sometimes we have no clue why we are in such ruts in our lives. And you know what? It's because of the people, our ancestors who went before us that did foolishness. And guess what? We are the ones that pay for it later on. When that curse is pronounced, it stays. Okay? Unless we ourselves connect with God and ask God to remove that from us. So here's what's happened. So this is what Isaiah told him. The day is coming when everything in this house that you just showed these Babylonians is going to be taken away to Babylon. Verse 7, and of thy sons that shall issue from thee, which thou shalt beget, shall they take away. And they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. So eunuchs were self-made, or not, either you could be a self-made eunuch, which means you abstain from women, or you could be made a eunuch, where what they call castrate you or remove your male sexual organs. So this was going to happen to his seed. Okay, in verse 8. Then said Hezekiah to Isaiah, good is the word of the Lord which thou hast spoken. He said, moreover, for there shall be peace and truth in my days. Now, I don't like Hezekiah for this. He is rejoicing to God because he's not going to be the one seeing the trouble. Later on, we are going to be reading a certain book where this prophecy is going to come to play, and we're going to see what took place. Like I said, sometimes the people who came before us, that's why we need to live in such a way that our children we do not hinder the path of our children, is what I should say. And if people only knew their behaviors does impact those that come after them. Our children, our children's children, children to the third and fourth generations. God help us. So that was the end of chapter 39. So Hezekiah was healed, didn't give God any praise and thanks, went and make his house like a big museum. Come see what I have, all my riches, and never told them about his healing, the miracle of the healing that God gave him, and addition to that, how God lengthened his years. Whew. But you know what? We are very much like that sometimes. We like to talk about what we have and make ourselves seem so self-made and proud, and we don't remember to give God the thanks and praise. So, until our next reading, remember, faith comes by hearing. So let's keep on listening. And until our next reading, take care. Bye.